Malala Yousafzai is an extraordinarily courageous young girl. She famously stood up for educating women in Taliban-controlled areas. She's a Pakistani student, and unfortunately, at one point, the Taliban came and shot her in the face as she was going to school. Now, she survived, which is amazing, and thank God that she did. And she's now recovered, and she was actually up for a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, she didn't win, but a lot of people thought she should have won, and whether she wins or not is not relevant to how incredibly brave she was. And she, after getting shot in the face, she's still speaking out. Well, she was actually in America and went to the White House, where she met with Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and their 15-year-old daughter, Malia. And now, most of the time when people go to the White House, well, they get smitten. And I know Democrats certainly do. Oh my God, oh, and a lot of the progressive groups, they're the ones that are based in Washington and not that connected with the people anymore. Like, oh my God, I was sitting next to the president. Oh, the president invited me to the White House. We had tea and crumpets. It was amazing. Hey, wait a minute, all those progressive issues we have with the president, did you raise any of them? I mean, that was not the time for it. No, of course it's the time for it. When else are you going to see the president? When would be a better time? No, when you have the president in the room, please, for Christ's sake, ask him the tough questions. But Malala didn't get dissuaded when she was shot in the face. You think she's going to be intimidated by American politicians? So, on the one hand, she thanks the president. On the other hand, she challenges him. She said, I thank President Obama for the United States' work in supporting education in Pakistan and Afghanistan and for Syrian refugees. And she's right about that. We have done some bad things, but we've also done those good things. She continues, I also express my concerns that drone attacks are fueling terrorism. Innocent victims are killed in these acts, and they lead to resentment among the Pakistani people. If we refocus efforts on education, it will make a big impact. Ah, bless her heart. Look, last year we started for the first time this award called Turk of the Year, where we give to the person who shows tremendous courage in standing up to authority, whatever authority that might be, challenging the establishment, and fighting back for what's right and what's true and what's just. You couldn't find a better candidate than Malala for that. She won it last year, and I love to see that she, as a 16-year-old now, has the nerve and the courage to do what so many here in the United States can't do. And I remember when it was the Republicans in office, it was all the same too. People would go in and they would melt all the criticism of George W. Bush. But then he invites you to the White House and be like, oh my God, we're in the White House, we're in the White House. Okay, yes, Mr. Bush, you're so right. I remember Chris Matthews famously saying, I can't believe Bush was so towel snappy with me. Oh, he's a Yale guy, you know, and I'm just, I didn't even go to Yale, but I felt like I was in the club. Oh, you're so sad, you're so sad. And it takes a 16-year-old like this to show true courage. Bless her heart. Once again, Malala Yousafzai does it. And in this case, she couldn't find a better thing to challenge the president on. President Obama has been terrible on drone strikes. Understand, drones are a weapon, okay? You can't argue with a weapon. So it's like the old things about, oh, war on terror. There's no, terror is a tactic. You can't have a war on a tactic. You can't have war on a drone. The question is, how do you use the drone? So if you do drone strikes on high-level al-Qaeda terrorists, as the administration claims, well, that would be one thing. But if you do it on innocent people, as is happening in Pakistan, our homeland, well, then you alienate the entire Pakistani population, which is exactly what has happened, and that's a totally different thing. And she's calling it out as she sees it. She's telling the president to his face, you're wrong about the drone strikes. When you do, for example, a signature strike, that's a strike where we have no idea who we're killing. We say there's some signature activity on the ground, maybe weaponry, etc. And they could be weapons for self-defense. It could be it's a tribal area. It could be weddings they brought to a wedding, which happens often. We bomb them anyway without having any idea who it is. Well, that's wrong. Sometimes we do double taps, where we do a drone strike on people, on first responders going in to help the wounded and the dead. Well, that's an al-Qaeda tactic. It's wrong when al-Qaeda does it, it's wrong when the Taliban does it, and it's wrong when we do it. And thank God there was at least one person strong enough, brave enough to challenge the president on that. Let's hope that for a change, he listened. I doubt it, but let's hope. At least someone told him to his face.